Well, this is James chapter 3 on our journey in the Exile Challenge. James chapter 3, and just as a reminder, James wrote this letter to the 12 tribes which were scattered abroad. And so they are people that he's writing to that are in the dispersion or in to some extent in exile, I guess you could say. They're at least away from Jerusalem. So these are Jewish Christians that he was writing to that are away from Jerusalem at this time, or the land of Israel. And so he's writing this in James chapter 3. What a chapter it is. And James is one of those writers, one of those men who just does not hold back in what he has to say to these people that he's writing to. In James chapter 3, we start off with, don't let there be many teachers. Why? Because they're going to face a greater judgment because of what they say. And I think in this chapter, the one thing, well, there's a couple things that stood out to me, of course, is the issue of the tongue and the issue of just wisdom. And I think that this is one issue that everybody faces, and everybody has a difficulty controlling. The first, of course, is controlling the tongue, using self-control, and how we use the tongue, how we use our words. And the second is the issue of wisdom and that idea of selfishness. So oftentimes, especially when I was younger, and probably even still now, is that I think maybe more highly than I ought to of myself, and I'm very self-focused. And my pride and my arrogance causes me not to want to listen to other people and think that I know better than I really do. And do you have that problem? Maybe sometimes when your mom or dad or another authority figure ask you to do something, or to do something in a specific way, and in your mind or through your actions you express or you think that, man, they just have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. My wisdom is so much greater than them. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I need to do in my life, and I know how to do this, kinds of things. And I'm not willing to take instruction. I think this is a little bit of what James is touching on right here. And James, in James chapter 1, verses 1 to 12, he talks about the issue of the tongue. And he says that, for we all stumble in many ways. This is verse 2. And if anyone does not stumble in what he says, he is a perfect man, able also to bridle his whole body. In essence, what he's saying, if you're able to practice self-control with your tongue, then you are the kind of person that can actually control all aspects of your life. Man, that's a pretty incredible statement right there. What about yourself? How do you control the tongue? Now, some of you might be thinking, well, I do pretty well at it. But you do pretty well at it because you just don't talk that much. And so you're just always silent. Now, I think when James is talking about the tongue, it's not just the ability to not talk when you really want to blurt something out that you shouldn't. But it is also being able to talk and to say the appropriate things at the right time. Well, that takes control. And so if you're that silent person out there, you might still have an issue in bridling the tongue in the sense of controlling it. So bridling doesn't mean silence. Bridling means controlling it and using your words in the way that God has intended you to use them. Man, that is a lesson for us all. And it gives us a description of how powerful the tongue is, that the destructive power that it has. It can destroy lives, and he puts it on par with a forest fire, puts it on par with a small little rudder that can steer a huge ship. And he says it's set on fire by hell itself. We have so much power in our tongues that we just need to be cautious. I want you, as you read James chapter 3, or if you already have, I want us to make a point today to think through and control how we're using our tongues. That today we use it for encouraging others, to bless one another in being positive towards them and helping them, building them up. in the faith, your brother and sister, your mom and dad, is controlling. Ask the Lord to help you to do so today. And the last thing I just wanted to mention in this short little video is that James goes on and talks about wisdom. Who is wise and understanding among you? Are you that person? Are you wise and understanding among your family members, among your peers, among those whom you're around? By his good conduct, let him show his works in the meekness of wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and selfish ambition in your hearts, do not boast and be false to the truth. This is not the wisdom that comes down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. And so, one of the things many teens deal with and have a hard time with, because you guys are growing, you are turning into men and women, and the difficulty of pausing to take instruction, to receive instruction, not thinking of yourself more wise than you really are. And because true wisdom is characterized in this way. True wisdom, as he says, is characterized by, first, it's pure. Then it's peaceable, gentle, open to reason. Open to reason, do you hear that? Full of mercy, and good fruits, impartial and sincere. Now, in your interactions with your mom and dad or anybody else that might be encouraging you, give you instructions, and is this the outcome of it all? That you're willing to stop and just reason and think through and have good conversations with people so that you might know what the true wisdom is, and don't think of yourself more highly than you ought. I know this is difficult, but this is something that you and I need to strive for. And this is something that just doesn't go away. So we all have to work on this. We want to be wise, don't we?
Yeah.
Thank you, Talia. We want to be wise. We want to follow what the Lord wants us to do. And so that comes with humility. It comes with humility. May God help us. Control our tongues and use it in the right way. And truly be wise, to receive instruction, to be peaceable, gentle, open to reason, full of mercy, good fruits, impartial, and sincere. Well, I hope you enjoyed James chapter 3 this morning, this afternoon, or evening, and can't wait to get back on here again and talk to you about James chapter 4.